Hey everybody, I'm Steph.
I'm Michael.
Today we have our top 10 games that we learned in July 2024.
Yay!
Yay!
This is my favorite time, getting to talk about all of the games we loved.
Yes.
And yeah, so before we begin, we will say that all but one of these games were provided to us by the publisher, but they didn't give it to us in exchange for being put on this video. They gave it to us because they know we like to play all the games. So,
It was a pretty strong month.
yep.
I also learned a couple great expansions that I'll just throw out there that we learned the Mosaic expansion.
Fantastic.
And if those who don't remember, it was both of our number ones when we learned it a couple years ago.
Yes. Mosaic was
Love the game.
2022 number one game.
For both of us. So we were very excited to play that expansion, and it's great.
Yep.
So check it out. Shall we get to it?
Let's get right to it.
Excellent.
And since you're the star of the show, I'll go first.
Okay.
My number 10 game. So I got to say, this is the year for deduction games, I think. Last year, this year, they're really coming into
That's true.
Into vogue, I think.
There's tons of them, actually.
Yeah, they're starting to all come out. And this game is by Portal Games called AI Space Puzzle, which Steph is now looking for.
I can't see it. I think I pulled it, but I can't seem to do it. Oh, well, you can keep talking about it.
So while Steph goes and fetches this picture, in AI Space Puzzle, you are trying to... So, let me back up. You are, all but one of you are astronauts on a spaceship, and it's gone out of control. You've all been woken up out of stasis or something, and the AI can't communicate with you. So you've got to try to reprogram the computer. Unfortunately, the AI is very limited in what it can say. How does the AI communicate? AI is going to be one player. AI communicates by using little tokens. And there are only a limited number of tokens that the AI can use. So, and a limited number of turns for you to put the right astronaut with the right key in the right location of the spaceship. So, I, as the AI, will reveal my tokens. Steph will take 3 or 4 actions, maybe putting a guy onto the ship, or moving the guy, or removing a guy from the ship. I might say, no, the colors are wrong, or no, the keys are wrong, or no, that location is wrong. But I can't say it out loud. I can only use the tokens I have. Some scenarios, you don't get the color tokens. Some scenarios, you don't get the key tokens. And you've got to find some other way to communicate this information.
Yeah.
While the clock ticks down to certain doom for the astronauts. So we've only played the tutorial and some of the easy missions.
And then I taught Steven, who was here before
Stephen Cordell, yeah.
And so we played some of the easy modes. And it's just so great. I love how it ramps up in difficulty, because like you get better at it, but then you're thrown into these like, well, how do I tell him this kind of information without the tokens I need? And
so you're of the two of us, you're the only one who's played. But no, I did play one side. I did play both sides once.
Yeah. But yeah, I've definitely, it's a lot of fun, and I want to play the hard. Like we only done easy, so it's easy. It's easy.
This is one of those. All of these scenario-based games are where you're going to want to try just one more. So like the crew, you want to play through all 50 missions.
Yeah.
And this is similar. I want to play through all of the missions and try to get better and better and better at it.
Absolutely.
Any game like this is always subject to go up or down on rankings. I have a feeling that this would likely go up in the rankings because there are dice that we don't even use yet. So, yeah.
It's tough. It's tough because there's a lot of information that you need to convey in a short period of time.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
So that's AI Space Puzzle from Portal Games.
Awesome. My number 10 is Galactic Renaissance.
Whoa.
I know, from Matago. Now, honestly, it wasn't a game I was thinking I was gonna love because it kind of looks like more area control on a map.
Hmm.
Um,
And
but
you don't tend to like area control.
no,
And
so
that's
like
important for those of you who don't dig area control.
right. So for me, this is all about the hand management system and your limited amount of cards that you have and the
Deck building.
actions that you take. It's sort of
Mm.
deck building, but you're not always
Absolutely
gonna
is.
you're gonna add some cards to your deck. But in the both games
No.
I've played, I've added like two or something, maybe two.
Wow.
So you had a lot more.
I have lots.
I didn't have that many, and you don't need that many
No.
because I won one of those games. So
Yes.
there's different strategies here. But you're managing. I don't even like race games, and I would consider this a race game. So, but it's a race to 30. However, the last turn that you need to get 10 points. So if you get to like 25, well, you go back to 20. So you have to make sure that when you're scoring, you hit the targets on the board on
Yeah.
the scoreboard.
So like if you're at 15, you got to try to reach for 30
Or you just do
or you slide back.
or you try and collect other
Mhm.
points in other ways to get to 20 so you can have that big turn at the end.
For 110-point jump. Yes.
So it's actually a fairly simple game when it comes down to it. It's just about managing those actions and how to do that. So
Yes.
I don't remember playing Inish, but I did when it first came out years ago. It's the same designers, so I don't really have that comparison. People are asking me to compare, but I don't have
I
that.
don't see the comparison, but sure.
I mean, you are managing a hand of cards, and there is a board with guys on it, but I don't remember
felt different.
exactly all of the mechanics of that, so I don't remember how they might overlap in like familiarity. But
Yeah, I don't remember caring much for Ennis, but Galactic Renaissance I really enjoyed.
yeah, for sure.
So,
So that was my number 10.
Provided by Matago.
Yeah.
My number 9 game, another deduction game.
Oh, yay.
This one is called A Message from the Stars. One team is playing the humans players, one team is, or the scientist, one team is playing the alien race, or one person is playing the alien race. And what you're trying to do, the aliens have letters in behind their screen. You have an alphabet deck, 26 letters. You've got cards that have letters that might add points, that might multiply your point total by 2, or might turn your total negative. So, with that information in mind, I am trying to provide words to Steph that will have some point value. If I have E as one of my cards that adds points to the score, I want to give her words with lots of E's, maybe, or lots of E's and T's and L's, for example. I want to make sure that she has a lot of those so that she can figure out, oh, this must be his letters that have that add points. So I'm trying to make her figure out my 3 cards that add points, my 2 cards that multiply points, and my 1 card that makes the point total negative. So when I'm communicating with her, I can't use just any word because I'm trying to make Steph figure out what my language is. But I want her to basically say 3 words from a multiple choice listing. Like, prepare to meet our blank, and there are 4 choices. It might be leader, it might be chef, it might be teacher, or whatever. And I try to give words that maybe are teacher related because I want her to say the word teacher when the game is over. Steph also wants me to figure out her 3 words. So she is giving me words, and then I tell her what the point value is. So as she starts deducing what my letters are, she can start giving more and more intelligent clues or words back to me. The 2 games we played of it, you were the scientist both times, and you were really on it both times.
Yeah, I like that.
So
it's a fun puzzle.
You get 1 point for every word, every letter, that you guess correctly in those 6. You get 1 point for every word of my 3 and her 3 that we each guess correctly, for a total of 12 maximum points. And we hit 12 both times.
We did.
Now, that doesn't mean that the game is over and done with, because different combinations of letters and different words on your card mean that you've got altogether different playing experiences. So, super fun and challenging. Highly recommend. A Message from the Stars, provided by All Play.
Yeah.
And this is one, you'll see that the box size was not one of their small square boxes.
Mhm.
It's actually a rectangular box.
Yeah.
Actually, right behind Steph's head over here.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
Yep. So my number 9 is Rock Hard 1977 from DeVere.
That's right.
This was probably one of the hottest games at Gen Con, honestly.
Yes. And also, Jackie Fox was there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So she was awesome.
She was a rocker and is the designer.
Yeah, when we played it on stream, she actually came on stream. So that was super awesome of her too. But the game is super solid. You are managing your actions throughout any given day in a month.
Yeah, you are a aspiring rocker.
That's right. So you need to do all the things like get the tech guys, do some gigs, make money because you have to go to work with your real-time job.
Make a demo tape.
Make a demo tape and try and like break into the industry, if you will. And so you're doing all that with the limited number of actions and trying to manage all that.
And hold down your day job.
Right.
Until you can get rid of that nasty day job.
Who needs that anyway?
Or a night job. You might have a night job.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so all these things come together really nicely in a easy to follow, beautiful game. We found it really easy to pick up and play. I was kind of like
easy iconography.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, this looks like a really heavy game. Like, do we want to play this right now? But I was really happy when we played it, and it wasn't that hard, and it was easy to teach. Like, I feel like I could go teach this game for
sure.
So it's very like welcoming, if you will.
Yes.
So this was a great surprise for me, and I had a great time playing it. So.
Yeah. That's Rock Hard 1977, provided by DeVere.
Yeah.
My number 8 game, I'm a sucker for theme.
Yeah.
So anytime someone throws a high quality title, oh wow, did you see that thing just grow?
I had to make it bigger.
For those of you who are fans of the legendary Snake Plissken, what she doesn't understand. She has not watched the movie.
Watch the movie.
Escape from New York, based on the fantastic 80s movie with Kurt Russell, I believe it is. Anyway, in Escape from New York, you are trying to do exactly what is in the movie. You are trying to rescue the president. You are trying to rescue his briefcase with the tapes in it, and not all those fake briefcases. What else are you trying to get? You're trying to get that. Oh, and the map of the bridge, so you don't step on the landmines and escape with the president. Oh, but guess what? There are secret winning conditions. I can, if I want, as soon as someone has grabbed the president, I can take my one thing. It might be fake tapes. It might be
like a finger or like a ring or something.
Yeah, but yes. But there are variants you could play.
Oh.
Anyway, you can get your thing that you want, and maybe you can take off in the helicopter and have a solo win, which is pretty darn fantastic.
No.
I had the option to do that, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do a combined co-op win with Steph. This is definitely a game that we will play on stream fairly soon. Owen has an Oscar-winning actor, Ernest. Yes. Ernest Hemingway.
It seems like
as Cabby.
It seems like a Scott movie.
In
the chat.
Yes, it really does.
I should watch it. Ultimately, it was definitely a thematic game.
You don't even know how thematic until you watch this movie.
Board game.
Or no, not did I said Ernest Hemingway? Ernest Borgnine.
Say Hemingway's an
No,
author.
Ernest Borgnine. No, you're correct. Ernest Borgnine as Cabby. Thank you, Dan. Scott and Dan both correct. Anyway, yes, sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, we will play this game soon. Yeah, definitely thematic. Escape from New York from Pendragon Game Studio.
Nice.
Can't wait to stream it.
Yeah. My
You're on
number 8 is Foundations of Metropolis from Arcane Wonders.
Yes.
I already really like Foundations of Rome. So for those who have played Foundations of Rome, this is the same game but without all of the extra bits. Like there's no
minis.
Well, there's no minis, so it's all cardboard. It's pretty easy to read the board. It's flat.
But that is exactly what people wanted.
It depends what people want.
No, that's what a lot of people said. They're like, "Oh, hey,
we don't have $200
I like the gameplay. Yeah, I don't have that much money to spend on all these minis." Or, like Dan in the chat, he has said, it's not as easy to read. But Foundations of Metropolis fixes all that.
Right, and so it makes it much more approachable, accessible to buy, and everything like that. So. It's a good place to start, and if you want to invest in the bigger game, then this will give you a really good chance to try it if you haven't tried it, and then perhaps dive deeper. But like Foundations of Rome has like the little mini expansions and maybe an extra player, and so there's other ways to expand on the game. So you can't really carry Foundations of Rome to anywhere. So
got it right above you, right up here.
Game. This is very transportable. It will fit in your game bag. So for me, I really enjoyed this. I'm very happy it's available. But if you have played Foundations of Rome, I would say it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So I really like the game though. So definitely worth adding to the collection if you haven't already.
Scott says it was non-ending criticism for people who don't understand bling.
That's fair.
So, to be fair, Scott blings out his games fantastically.
All over the place.
Love Scott's blinging out of his games. All right. My number 7 game is a game we've already played on stream. Kinfire Delve Scorn's Stockade. That's the second in the series. And actually, this is my 4th co-op game in a row on this list. 10, 9, 8, and 7, all co-op.
That's true. We played a bunch.
So, there are so far 3 games to Kinfire Delve. You can mix and match the heroes and bad guys.
That's cool.
But you really don't even need to, because Kinfire Delve comes with 2 heroes and a baddie, and it feels like a substantially different playing experience from the first one that we played, Vainglory's Grotto, I believe it is.
Yeah. But there's something to be said about each individual box, because your character is designed to work with my character.
Yes.
So you don't necessarily want to be mixing them up, but you can.
You can.
That's so yeah.
Yes. You could put the 2 heroes from Vainglory's box into Scorn Stockade.
Right.
And there are things that will affect those characters in that deck. So that's sort of cool. I like how they did that.
Yeah.
Anyway, co-op game, try to get through the dungeon or the well that you're trying to get through. Get to the bottom. Delve to the bottom of the well. Get to the bad guy. Defeat the bad guy.
Yeah.
Who has immunities to everything until you break in, so they're not immune to that color anymore. Meanwhile, they're super strong. Anyway, super fun game. Highly recommend the entire series, Kinfire Delve Scorn Stockade, provided by Incredible Dreams.
Yeah, we haven't even played the 3rd one, but I already know it.
We just got it. We just got it from Gen Con.
Yeah, whenever we do, it'll probably make the top. Or near the top of the month.
Like this.
Just because they're always so good. I can guarantee it's a good balanced game.
Fairly, considering
they have a great track record.
This and Vainglory both made my list.
Yeah, exactly.
In each month, I'm fairly sure that one will as well.
It's one of those games where it's like, it's an easy purchase for those who already are fans, because it's just more of good. It's more of a good thing.
More good.
That's right. More good.
We like
You
more
heard it
good.
here first. More good.
Hmm.
All right.
Your
So
number 7.
my number 7 is French Quarter from 25th Century Games. I actually for those who enjoy Fleet the Dice game and Three Sisters and the roll and writes of this, these designers, this one went above the other ones basically.
Yes.
I love Fleet the Dice game, and I don't know if it's at or like right under Fleet the Dice game, but French
It's a
Quarter.
really hard choice for me.
I know.
This is my number 11 game, so before anyone thinks that I dismissed this, this was
Yeah, just
right
missed
in
it.
just missed.
Yeah, so there's a lot of great choices in this game, and it's doing things a little differently than the other games, which is also interesting and nice. So, but you still have your 2 sheets of paper, and you're doing one thing over here, like moving around the map, and you're filling out your tracks on the other side, and so it has a similar feeling, but it is also doing different things. Like one track is the party track or the social track, where all these bad things are going to happen because you drink and drink.
You're drinking and drinking and drinking.
You're just
I call it the drunk track.
end up in the police station. So like you got to watch out for that.
Oh yeah, and it makes one of your numbers where you can't even use it anymore. It's so funny.
So it actually feels fairly thematic.
Yes.
I've never been, but I get the sense, right? Like I can understand why people are going and doing and having fun in this location. So
French Quarter, New Orleans.
yeah, so I thought it was really good. So the time of rolling rights is not yet over.
Says the Rolling Right Queen.
I do love rolling rights, so keep them coming for me.
That's French Quarter, provided by 25th Century Games.
Yeah.
My number 6 game is Evenfall from Nanox Games. This game has a really interesting mechanic where you're trying to get locations and then put an enchantment of some sort on them, some kind of spell or familiar to move them into your inner ring or outer ring. You're trying to move them closer in. To do so, you've got a lot of worker placement elements to place workers on different regions in order to draft cards or maybe get special abilities so that you can have other cards, maybe using cards to get resources. So if you like worker placement, if you like resource management, if you like card management, if you like cool scoring combos, then this is probably the right sort of game for you. Finally, my first competitive game on the list.
True. You have some others, so it's fine.
So Heroic has a little heart saying Evenfall.
Loves Evenfall.
Loves Evenfall. So I like the asymmetric player powers. Your power had the ability to have a special scoring shield. The scoring shields, if you have dominance over a region at the end of the round, you're going to get one of these special scoring shields that will double your point totals. Well, your character, every time you get one of those shields, you get some kind of special ability. And so every time you would take control of those regions, wrestle it away from me. And so yeah, it's fun how that works.
I agree.
There's, in addition to the normal resources, there is a mana resource. So it has the right amount of resources for a game. You don't want to have like 32 different resources. I think this has 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Not that many.
No.
So super recommend Evenfall from Nanox Games. I think Matago is on that, but I'm not sure in the US. I think Matago has licensing rights somewhere.
Oh no, yeah, it's from Danny Flat River.
Danny Flat River provided it. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying Matago is listed on the BGG listing, so somewhere Matago has rights to this.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
So
it doesn't surprise me. It's very popular.
That's 2 Matago games on the list. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Cool. Yeah, no, it's definitely worth checking out for sure.
Your number 6.
My number 6 is Zoomies.
You just like the puppies.
From Fireside Games. I do. They're cute.
Plus, you also like tile placement games.
I know. So this one was A little bit deeper than I first expected it would be. I'm not saying it's deep. I'm just saying, like, I thought it was just gonna be this like silly little light game with dogs and cuteness.
Now it's got some strategy.
But it does have strategy because you have tiles in your hand. You're always going to place one, but you're going to place a token on this tile. So you really want to make it to the most beneficial possibility on the map as you can. So it's kind of abstract because you want to place it. Oh, I have this tile. Maybe I'll use this tile next. So if I can position myself just right, then I can get this. Or you can say, I hate my tiles. At the end of my turn, I'm going to discard it and get 2 new tiles. And I've done that a lot to try and search for certain dogs that will really help me place what
I'm trying to get cohesive patterns of these.
Yeah, so we have these tokens that you're trying to like get bones, and you're trying to become friends with the other surrounding dogs, and you're trying to become the leader of a pack. So there's different ways to score based on how these tiles are going down on the board. So lots of little choices, and for a quick little 20-minute game, I was impressed. So
Yeah.
I thought it was really cute and good.
A lot of depth in a short game.
I agree. So it made my list because I quite enjoyed it.
Zoomies from Fireside Games.
Yeah.
My number 5, we've already talked about it. It's Foundations of Metropolis from Arcane Wonders. Considering that Foundations of Rome was my number 15 game of 2022,
Yeah.
there's no way Foundations of Metropolis is not going to make at least the top half of whatever month that we played it in. And for sure, it made my number 5 of July.
Awesome.
Which means the 4 games above it, super fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, I do prefer the minis. I'm not that much of a minis person. But I can see everything clearly, even with the minis. My main concern for a flat version of Foundation of Rome, which is what Metropolis ended up being, my concern was that you wouldn't be able to see things clearly enough. Amazingly, I could.
Yeah.
So my one concern totally taken away when playing Foundations of Metropolis.
Nice.
So that's a super big hit by Arcane Wonders.
Awesome. All right. My number
5
is one we just talked about: Kinfire, Delve, Scorn, Stockade. It's like I said before. Not even like playing it, I knew it was a game I was gonna enjoy. So I'm like, Michael, let's just play a game. We were familiar with the rules. It was easy to get into because we already knew the rules.
Some days you just have to play games that you already know or sort of know.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah. So that's really, and it was great, and we easily got into it. We were easily be able to stream it like we did. So it's just super fun. And it's always really close at the end. It could go either way. Like always. We always come down to like,
right to
like, can we do it? Like, so it's always like a nail biter at the end of the game. What's gonna happen? And it's always a story to tell. So we have fun with that. Definitely recommended.
Yep. Heroic says my copy of Evenfall is DLP games.
Okay. That was probably the original. Well, no, Nanox. I don't know. Sure, it's a game that's getting licensed all over the place, so it does not surprise me that you have a copy.
And is beautiful.
Well, yeah, it is beautiful.
My number 4 is from Days of Wonder. It is the only game that was not provided by the publisher.
Yeah.
So during our epic road trip to collect unwanted games, this game was one of the wanted games, not one that we got to collect. But we did get to have a game night with John and Lainey, and so we got to play Heat, Pedal to the Metal. I had never played before. I had always wanted to play. It was on my wish list on BGG. Actually, still is on my BGG wish list because I haven't updated my list in a while. Wanted to own it. I knew I was going to like it. Already knew I was going to like it. So, for those of you who have been living underneath a rock for the last couple of years, the Heat is a racing game where you have hand management and you have to manage your hand of heat cards. Anytime you go too fast around a curve, you're going to take heat. Anytime You try to push one extra space, you're going to take heat. Any heat that you build up is going to just build up like luggage in your hand. The only ways to get rid of heat is to be behind or to go down to a lower gear. And that will allow you to shed heat. And Scott says, Steph will hate it. Um, I,
Hate it, but it didn't make my top 10. So,
and yeah, it was also Steph's first time playing it. We also played it again on Game Guildies, and you did a lot better.
I did fine the first time.
You did fine the first time. You did fine the second time.
Fine. If I'm gonna play, see, it reminded me a lot of Snowtails, but I would just rather play Snowtails.
So the main reason this did not go higher on my list, I mean, this is number 30 something on BGG. Clearly, there's
Love it.
people love it.
I think it's overrated.
But I think there's I've only played the one map, so
Yeah.
let's put a little asterisk by this.
I'm sure the other
statement.
maps are.
Oh, Scott says it's so much better with drafting. With the it's so much better than Snowtails with the drafting rules. Yeah, I like drafting.
I get that, sure.
So there's a little bit too much gaming of when you take those heat. But then again, isn't that true of real life tracks? There's certain areas that you can get a one turn advantage on somebody just by getting over the line and taking a bunch of heat, but then you can shed those heat bit by bit over time. And right at the very end of the game, you can then spend a whole bunch of take a whole bunch of heat in order to push through at the very end. So there's a little bit of gaming on that. I don't know how to draft cards with heat. So that is interesting.
I'm with Dan, but I haven't played it with drafting cards, so
yeah.
Maybe it is better with drafting cards, but I do like drafting cards, so
this could go up or down on my list, but it went ahead and settled in at number 4, which is pretty solid.
2 people in the chat says I'd rather play Snowtails.
Now there you go.
It's fine. I think it's fine.
Heroic wants to play Snowtails. Dan wants to play Snowtails. I was not that impressed with Snowtails. So, remove 0 and 5 and H and have the snakes and heat from the snake draft.
Okay. It's weird. Okay. So
that is my number 4.
My number 4 is AI Space Puzzle. I played it a lot more than you did because I played several games with Steven. So I got a lot more familiar. I had to give the codes and he was just not on my wavelength.
Oh, did you lose?
No, but we got down to the wire because he was just like, so I'm like, okay, all the things. And then I would immediately change everything and be like, okay, so now that you know everything, okay, the red one's here. So this is this symbol, this is this symbol. And he's like, oh, but what was this? So he forgot everything. I saw
when I was
because you can't take notes.
So I had to work, because I do have to work every now and then. And while I was working, you and Stephen were playing, but when I came downstairs to get a drink and I saw that he was forgetting to put those key symbols on there. And so during this particular scenario, you had no access to the colors. And if you say something with a key symbol and he's not keeping track of the key symbols, he has no way to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and then he removes the green one or whatever, and he wouldn't change the markers of so he was not doing a good job of keeping track of what colors were where.
And the amazing thing is that he randomly guessed.
He randomly guessed twice.
The right colors and the right locations. And you should have been able to check mark that somehow. Yeah.
He's just so good at randomly placing them.
So I was looking, and then I walked up, and I was saying, "This is me not saying anything. This is me not saying anything."
He immediately change everything. I'm like, no,
stop.
So this is the life of the AI versus the human. Okay, how can we communicate so everything is clear? And I can't react. I can't say anything, and you can't take notes on his end. So it's like, all right, we're gonna just scratch everything. We're gonna start over, learn where we.
Here's the problem: she can't say scratch everything.
No, of course. But if I show the same thing as he's already seen, he'll know, be like, oh, I did see this, so maybe he'll get the hint.
Whoops. Yeah, I did that to you a couple times. I'm like, I showed the exact same thing, and you're like,
Dude,
"Oh, you didn't. I didn't get it."
I didn't register it or whatever. I had the symbols swapped or whatever.
Right.
This game is super fun, and if you play through it, you'll pick up on common clues, I suppose, and you'll start to understand each other better. But yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that this game was checked out of the Hot Games Room at Gen Con a whole lot.
Right.
A whole lot.
AI space puzzle from Portal Games.
So
My number 3, we've already talked about, and it is Rock Hard 1977 from DeVere.
yeah.
So, oh look, it looks like I'm like a little head on top of the.
Hey, bobblehead.
I'm a little Rock Hard bobblehead with the head turned completely around. If I do it like this, does it look like it's my butt?
Yep.
No, it doesn't. Okay. So I think it's highly thematic, where you've got to do your morning thing, your evening thing, and your after hours thing. And the things that you can do correlate to those times of day. You can go to the recording studio or get a recording contract, but only in the day. And at night, you can do recording contract or play a gig. After hours, you hang out at a night spot and hang out with your friends, and maybe something good happens. So Dave says Michael looks great with a mullet.
No, please no. Please no.
My blonde mullet down here. So I really got a kick out of Rock Hard. Totally deserves the number 3 spot in my July list.
Oh yeah, doesn't surprise me. Probably true.
Your number 3?
My number 3, kind of cheating, but Landmarks.
Why is it cheating?
Well, to be fair, I did play this in early prototype phase.
Oh yeah, but you couldn't talk about it.
Talk about it.
And you don't usually rate prototypes.
I usually don't. So I'm counting this as a new because it's actually made and the theme has changed and all that. You want in on a secret?
What?
The original title was called Cave of Secrets.
Called what?
Cave of Secrets.
Cave of Secrets.
But in the game, you're trying to clue in a directional pattern to get to the treasure and the exits.
Oh.
And so you start with the 3 words, and then if I have to think of a word to make the other side, whoever's on my team or whoever's on the other side of the clue giving, go in a direction from these 3 words. So if I want them to go in the direction that are intersecting between 2 of these tiles, I want to try and think of a commonality between those 2 tiles, those words, and then they'll put that tile there. Because once I give a clue, it's up to the other side to place this tile anywhere on the map adjacent to a tile.
If we don't get the connection between 2 words and put the tile between those 2 tiles,
yeah,
and we think it's only related to one tile, we're going to place it around just this one tile, but not the second tile.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a lot of traps and curses you might run into. So there's like, so you don't
Cave of Secrets. I like that title.
Yeah, because it originally in the prototype it was exploring a cave, but we changed it to landmarks because you were trying to direct you into the landmarks using words.
So the one weakness with this game, I gotta say, let's say that you have one tile on the board and you want them to go next to that tile. Well, if there's nothing else around the tile, it's a 1 in 6 shot you're just going next to. If
1 in 3 because you're not going adjacent.
Yeah, if you have another tile there, then it's a 1 in 3 chance. Or if you're putting it between 2 tiles, is it on this side or is it on this side? And so it's a 1 in 2 chance. And you're sort of just flipping a coin in that case.
True. But if that's where the person giving the clues has to weigh the benefits of going.
The risks, because it could be a curse on one side and a treasure on the other, but you got to do it.
Sometimes you have to take the chance, or you have to think of another path that you can maybe try for.
Right.
So I like the challenge. It's pretty light. We also played it as a team based game with
you can play it cooperative with one team or competitive team versus team.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of fun playing that on stream with our Twitch friends over there. So I think the game is like super super fun. It was getting played a heck of a lot in the BG Talk Games room as well. So hopefully other people's were also enjoying it as much as I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your number 3 game, Landmarks, provided by Floodgate Games. My number 2 game, we've already talked about it. It's Galactic Renaissance from Matago.
Ooh.
Super big box. It looks intimidating, but it is less intimidating than it seems. Um, each of the planets, if you can get control of them as an allied world, they each have different abilities. So not only do you have cards with abilities, you have planets with abilities. I think the unique thing about this game is it's sort of like Aeon's End, where you can't shuffle your deck. So if you've got cards that are clumped up that you don't want together, you need to find a way to play certain cards before other cards so you can sort of space them apart a little bit. And I think that is a really good challenge to have. I lost the game that we played on stream, I think, because I had 3 or 4 cards clumped together that I couldn't do anything with. That said, I had a lot of fun playing this game when I played it. Not only 4 players with James and Susan, also playing it 3 players with Stephen on stream.
Yeah.
So,
and it does play 2, but we haven't tried it yet or 2.
Yes.
So.
I think with a 2-player game, it would be a much more strategic pull and push.
Yeah.
But I think it would play just fine.
Yep.
So that is super fun game, Galactic Renaissance from Metago.
My number 2 is A Message from the Stars.
Nice.
Now, this is like, I want to say like 3 kind of similar games. There's like Landmarks, AI Space Puzzle, Message from the Stars. They all kind of give me the same kind of feeling, even though they're all different. They're all different.
Because deduction.
Because the deduction element of it. This one I really like because you have to be a little bit more clever.
Right.
I like that little bit extra cleverness because you need to give a clue. And when you're asking for a clue for a number, like I've only been the scientist, as he said. So I need to get a good word to get a good value. So I'm trying to deduce his letters, but I'm also trying to give a clue for my categories. So
for your communication word.
For the communication word, yeah. So like having multiples of certain letters to try and see what letters might actually be like taken out. And so, I like trying to think of that. And it's not just coming from one side of it, which usually it's just one side trying to be clever and think of things like code names. You're trying to think of the person behind the screen is trying to think of the one clue to get everything connected. Both sides are trying to think of something clever to give. So I absolutely love that about this game.
And games with letters in it like that, like it give you that same Wordle feel.
Yeah.
That you're trying to deduce.
Yeah. I still do Wordle.
What letter is that? Yeah, exactly. So
yeah. So for me, this game totally works. I really enjoy it. And hopefully they come out with like little mini expansion packs for cards with different like categories and words for communication purposes. But right now I'm still having a lot of fun with it. So definitely.
Yeah. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the year of deduction games, I think.
Yeah.
Because we saw a lot of them at Gen Con.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Definitely some more coming up for sure.
Yeah.
So our number ones are the same.
I know.
And so I take
it does not surprise me that they're the same.
I take great pains to not look at her list of ratings. She has a spreadsheet on my server that I don't look at.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be spoilered on this. I want us to have different ratings on things. Specifically because I don't want to see hers and go, I like that game a lot. Because I see you liked it a lot. And I remember I like it a lot. I don't want to be influenced by that.
That's fair.
So it's amazing. I love it when we do have our number ones line up, and a lot of times they do. And it's cool when it happens. It is
Tales from the Red Dragon Inn.
From Slugfest Games.
Yeah.
Look at that. You're barely taller than this box.
Short.
So, not a legacy game. It's a campaign game with
Yeah.
lots of different scenarios. I like that it is. If you like Gloomhaven, it's very, 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 very Gloomhaven ish.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this is it's like Gloomhaven without a lot of the extra fiddliness and homework. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The rule set not nearly as big.
And that's why I really, really like it.
Really enjoy it. Now, that's not to say we don't like Gloomhaven.
We do.
On any single month that a new Gloomhaven game comes out, like Frosthaven or whatever, it's going to be right there at the top of the list. And that's probably why Tales of the Red Dragon Inn right at the top of the list.
So the thing for me is you run Gloomhaven because you've played it a whole lot and everything. I feel like I could not run Gloomhaven, but I feel like I could run this.
Yes.
And that's like a big difference. Like,
for people who are intimidated by all that,
yeah,
this is definitely what you want.
This is what you want. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, that should be all that needs to be said, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what to tell you, but
like,
we had a great time.
If you like, I don't even want to call it a minis based game. It is a cool game where you have hand management and placement of things on hexes, but done in
you have to manage what you're dealing with. Like, I have these powers, I want to use them. I am strong. I'm gonna go in and bash him in the head, and and
I have to wait for that ability to cool down.
Yeah, Rogue says this game is excellent,
and it really is. It really is.
It really is. So I'm very excited to play more of it.
This is another one of those games I want to play all the scenarios, all of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go through it, the whole thing.
I want to.
But with all the games, who has the time, right? This will stay on our shelves until we've played it all.
Oh, for sure.
So,
and then they'll come out with those two.
Yes, which will be fantastic, and I'll play it.
We'll play it.
And play it too.
Yeah.
So, quick rundown of our list. My number 10 game, AI Space Puzzle, provided by Portal Games. Number 9, A Message from the Stars, provided by Allplay. Number 8, Escape from New York, from Pendragon Game Studio. Number 7, Kinfire delves Scorn Stockade, from Incredible Dream. Number 6, Evenfall, from Nanox Games. Number 5, Foundations of Metropolis, from Arcane Wonders. Number 4, Heat, Pedal to the Metal, from Days of Wonder. Number 3, Rock Hard, 1977, from Devere. Number 2, Galactic Renaissance, from Matago. And number 1, Tales from the Red Dragon Inn, from Slugfest Games.
My number 10 was Galactic Renaissance from Matago. Number 9, Rock Hard, 1977 from Devere. I don't know what year. 1997.
1977.
Whatever. You know what I mean. The years, whatever. Foundations of Metropolis from Arcane Wonders. Number 7, French Quarta from 25th Century Games. Number 6, Zoomies from Fireside. Number 5, Kinfire delves Scorn Stockade from Incredible Dream. Number 4, AI Space Puzzle from Portal Games. Number 3, Landmarks from Floodgate Games. Number 2, A Message from the Stars from Allplay. And number 1, The Tales from the Red Dragon Inn from Slugfest.
There we go. Our top 10 from July.
And the best expansion was Mosaic War.
Mosaic Wars and Disasters?
I think so.
Yes. So let's go ahead and say real quick, it adds 1 new role. It adds disaster cards that you're going to put in 2 disaster cards into every deck in the same spot that the same spot that you put in the Empire scoring cards.
Yeah, we fortunately didn't see any of those.
We didn't see any.
Really mean.
And you get to see what the disasters are. They generally work like this. Whoever has the least music culture, for example, the little pink icon, will lose 1 thing. And if you don't have that thing to lose, then you're going to lose something worse. And if you don't have that to lose, then you're going to lose something worse. If you don't have that to lose, you're going to lose something really, really, really bad. So don't be that person. Yes, I love that. So
yeah.
It also adds naval ships. Finally, it adds wars. Anytime that you draft military units, you also get to do a war. And that it my one complaint about Mosaic was that you couldn't affect the warlord or any of the units very effectively because something pops up in the technologies, and if you don't have any military technologies, sometimes you can't even take those military technologies, and so those problems start compounding one on another, and you can't handle military on the board. The wars let you do that. Um, Pretty cheaply and effectively, if you're not a war player. So, yes.
It's crazy.
That said, I did become a military player, and you guys did not
I got demolished.
do anything against me. Anyway, highly recommend. If you missed our top 10 recap, hey, just rewind about 2 minutes and listen to it.
Yes.
That's our top 10, July 2024.
August will be full of doozies because we just got back from Gen Con, so expect a full solid month of games.
Yes. Minus the few days I'm gone.
That's right.
That's right. So if you enjoyed this top 10 preview and you want to see more just like it, just check out all of our 1,300 plus videos on YouTube at Board Gamer Steph. Or you can join us on twitch.tv/BoardGamerSteph every Wednesday and Sunday night at 5 p.m. Central, where we stream 3 games and usually a lot more every single stream. So come join us on Twitch where we play all the games.
And for those on Twitch, we'll be right back.